Hello everyone. Each week I'm going to bring to you a video give you a little bit deeper insight of the songs that we choose for a particular Sunday and why I would choose a song. So I'll explain to you why I would choose a song and sing that song for you, just so you get a better understanding of how things work when we're talking about liturgical music. One of the songs that we're going to be doing this Sunday is a very special song, and it was written specifically for the time that we're in right now, specifically for a lot of these fears and anxieties and darkness that some of us would be feeling. The song is titled "With God, Life Never Dies" and was written by Francis Patrick O'Brien. And the text for this song was inspired by Pope Francis's Urbi et Orbi address that was done on March 27th of 2020. And specifically in that address, Pope Francis calls us to be not afraid, to know that Christ is going to be with us when we go through this darkness. And this text is very poignant and very prayerful and very appropriate to what's going on right now. So the refrain goes, "With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side." The verses go on to get a little bit deeper. Verse 1 says, "When the darkness surrounds like a deafening silent sound, Christ is there. Caught off guard by the storm in a world that's been transformed, Christ is by our side." Second verse goes, "When the world that we knew becomes broken and untrue, Christ is there. When our fears hold us fast through the storm's relentless blast, Christ is by our side." And the third verse goes on, "When we trust and believe, as we question, as we grieve, Christ is there. As we reach through our fears to companion those in tears, Christ is by our side." The last part of that verse really speaks to me. Even though we might be feeling some fear and anxiety in our own lives about what's happening, Christ calls us to reach out to those who might be feeling the same thing, so maybe we can comfort them. And the last verse gives us a little bit of glimpse at the light at the end of the tunnel. It says, "When our darkness is done, when we are gathered all as one, Christ is there. As we sing our new song, joyful voices clear and strong, Christ is by our side." So it tells us that we will be back together with each other in our churches, worshiping God, raising our voices. And I can't help but think that we will be inspired to raise our voices even more after this is all done. So I'm going to sing this song for you. The music will be going out in the flock notes so that you can sing along with me on Sunday when I sing this song as well. This is "With God, Life Never Dies." With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. When the darkness surrounds like a deafening silent sound, Christ is there, Christ is there. Caught off guard by the storm in a world that's been transformed, Christ is by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. When the world that we knew becomes broken and untrue, Christ is there, Christ is there. When our fears hold us fast through the storm's relentless blast, Christ is by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. With God, dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. When we trust and believe, as we question, as we grieve, Christ is there, Christ is there. As we reach through our fears to companion those in tears, Christ is by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. When the darkness is done, when we gather all as one, Christ is there, Christ is there. As we sing our new song, joyful voices clear and strong, Christ is by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen and living by our side. With God, life never dies. Christ is risen